Hi everybody, I'm Miss Kimberly. I am the School Outreach Librarian in the Youth Services Department at the Algonquin Area Public Library. And today I am going to talk to you about 5 of the books on the Monarch reading list. So the Monarch Award is an Illinois State Award, and it's given to a book that's perfect for kids in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 5 of those books right now, okay? The first one is called How to Apologize, and it's by David La Rochelle, and it's illustrated by Mike Wanautka. I really liked this book. I thought it was so funny. Look at the first page. Even the first page made me laugh out loud. The first page says, "Everyone makes mistakes." And you can see it's pretty funny right off the bat because the penguin just parachuted right through the crocodile's roof. So, saying sorry can be really hard. When you make a mistake, it can be really hard to apologize and say that you're sorry. But apologizing is really, really important. And this book, with some hilarious pictures, gives you some really good tips on how to say sorry and how to say sorry sincerely and actually make the other person feel better. And when you apologize and make the other person feel better, you usually will make yourself feel better as well. So if you want a really funny, cute book on a topic that can be a little tricky, especially for kids who are in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, because apologizing is pretty tricky, I highly recommend How to Apologize because it was great. My next book is called Lift, and this book was written by Min Lei and illustrated by Dan Santat. And he's a pretty famous illustrator. He's done a lot of picture books that you might be familiar with. So this book is about Iris, and Iris loves pushing the buttons in the elevator in her family's apartment building. If you have ever ridden an elevator, you might also really like pushing the buttons. But one day, her little brother gets to push them instead. And even though it's always been her job and her parents have always let her do it, that day they let her little brother do it, and then they keep letting him do it. And Iris gets really angry, and she starts to feel really bad and left out. You can see here. Here's Mom and Dad letting little brother push the buttons, and it says betrayal. She's really upset. So one day while she's leaving, after her brother has pushed all the buttons in the elevator again, she finds a magical button in the trash can in the lobby of her apartment building. And she brings it up to her room, and she presses it, and it opens up into a magical world, which is pretty cool, like this. So Iris has access to this magical button, and she ventures out into this magical world a couple times, and it keeps changing. And but one day her little brother needs her, and she has to decide if she should keep her magical world all to herself or if she should invite him to come with her. So that book is called Lift, and it's really good, and the illustrations are really, really fun and almost in like a graphic novel comic book format. So if you like graphic novels, this is a good choice as well. Next we have Don't Hug Doug. He doesn't like it. And here's Doug saying, "It's just not my thing." And this is written by Carrie Finnison, and the drawings are by Daniel Wiseman. This is a book about Doug. Doug does not like hugs. Do you like hugs? I love hugs, but some people don't. And Doug is one of those people. So please don't hug Doug. And we'll show a little bit of this book. So this book talks about how everyone is the boss of their own body. And there are people who like hugs, and there are people who don't like hugs. And there are people who like high fives, and there are people who don't like high fives. But the best way to find out if somebody likes something, particularly hugs, is to just ask them. So if you ask Finn, "Can I hug you?" he'll say, "Not now, gotta roll." And if you say, "Can I hug you, Grandma?" she'll say, "Yes, I always love hugs." And if you ask the identical twins, one might say yes and one might say nope. And if you hug the baby and the baby gets excited, the baby, that might mean yes. But if you ask Doug, Doug is going to say no because Doug doesn't like hugs, and that's okay. So this is a great book for reading and talking about how you are the boss of your own body and you get to be in charge of who gives you hugs and who doesn't. and gives you some tools to talk about. Maybe you want high fives instead of hugs, and that's okay. Don't hug Doug. All right, next up we have a graphic novel, and this one is so cute. This one is called Doggo and Pupper, and it's by Catherine Applegate. And she is a really fantastic writer. She wrote a really good book called The One and Only Ivan, which is just a wonderful book. And for this book, Charlie Alder did the illustrations. Doggo's life is a little boring. This is Doggo. But he likes it that way. He has a routine, and he's used to it. When his humans bring home Pupper to spice things up, Doggo is really annoyed by the puppy's bad manners. The puppy makes a mess. He wakes Doggo up in the middle of the night. He's just a pain. If you've ever had a new little brother or sister, it's kind of like that. So the humans send Pupper away to charm school. And when he comes back, he has perfect manners, but he's not really any fun anymore, and he doesn't really seem happy. So Doggo decides to hatch a plan for Pupper to have some fun and for him and Pupper to become friends. So it's a really cute story. Here is Doggo's boring life. Here's all his jobs. Book holder, squirrel scolder, bear finder, kid minder. He's pretty happy with his life. And here's what happens after Pupper comes. Pupper sits on him. Pupper jumps on him. Pupper takes his favorite nap spot. Pupper won't stop talking. It's actually a little bit like just having regular kids. And then when Pupper comes back from charm school, here's his perfect manners, but you can see he's really sad when he's not the same anymore. And Doggo kind of misses the Pupper that he used to be. So this is a really cute one. It's a really fun, easy to get through graphic novel. There's not too many words on each page, and you get to look at cute drawings of dogs. It's a win. And our very last book is a nonfiction book, which means that this book has facts in it and it tells a true story. And this book is called Swish, the slam-dunking, alley-ooping, high-flying Harlem Globetrotters. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Harlem Globetrotters, but they are a really cool basketball team that can do all sorts of amazing tricks with the ball. And sometimes they go and they play games in different stadiums and show off all their cool tricks. But this book tells the true story of the Harlem Globetrotters, who changed the game of basketball with their amazing tricks and their funny routines. It also tells the story of the racism and discrimination that their players faced and how their efforts helped integrate the game of basketball in the NBA. So integrate means that people who had black or brown skin and people who had white skin were not originally allowed to play sports together. And then when integration happened, they were. And the Harlem Globetrotters were part of the reason that the NBA became integrated, because the players were so talented that the owners of the teams that had all white people on them were like, I need to get some of these guys on my team because they're so good. So here's some of the cool tricks that the Harlem Globetrotters did. They could bounce balls off their head. They could speed dribble, spin balls on their finger. And then this page talks a little bit about what it was like to be an African-American man playing basketball at that time. They would play all over the country, but they weren't allowed to eat in a lot of different restaurants. It would say whites only or stay at certain hotels. And that was really hard, and it made their lives really difficult, and it made them feel bad. You can see they've got some pretty upset faces. And then, after the team had been popular for a few years, the Celtics decided to ask Chuck Cooper to play basketball with them. And Chuck Cooper was an African-American man, and he was the first black player in the NBA. And now, of course, people of all skin tones from all over play basketball and all sorts of sports together all the time. But the Harlem Globetrotters were really instrumental in making sure that all people could play basketball together in the NBA, the game that we know today. So this is a really great book, and they're Viva and female Harlem Globetrotters, that has lots of facts about a really cool moment in history and sports if you like sports. So that was 5 books off the Monarch list. I hope that you decide to check some of them out. We have all of them here at the Algonquin Area Public Library, and we would love if you came in and saw us. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for listening.